Mend with me. Hi, my name's Lauren. I teach visible mending, and today I'm going to show you how to turn some thrifted jeans into jean shorts using a brand new circle stencil. Settle in, it's going to be a longer video. It's a new project and a new stitch that I have never shown you guys before, so save for later if you would like to revisit. The first step is to try on your pants and mark where you would like them to land. Today I'm using our brand new Sashiko circle stencil. It also has straight edges on all four sides. I moved the notches to the corners so you can use it as a straight edge like I am using now. You want to mark a line across where you're going to cut for your pants. And using fabric scissors or pinking shears like I am using now, they are the zigzag blade scissors. What this does is cuts the fabric in a crosshatch. This prevents it from fraying. So because I'm not going to finish the edge of these pants completely, I decided to use the pinking shears. I had to work through a couple of things on these pants, so I left a lot in. Originally, I was going to fold under the hem once, but I noticed how hard that was to fold over those thick seams. This is 100% cotton denim. There's no stretch in here. So I decided that I wasn't going to do that, and I had to cut my pants again. So this is me just figuring out how to cut them straight. It was a little bit of an effort, but this prevents my shorts from being crooked when I'm wearing them. So I feel like a little extra effort was warranted, and now we're ready to start transferring our pattern. So I find that the heat erasing pens work best, especially for the waves pattern or these arches. It tends to eat up the chalk pencil I had, the chalk I had, and the wax pencil. So I find that the pen worked best if you're working on dark fabrics. They also have red heat erasing fabric pens. I use the friction pens. As long as you wash your fabric, the ink should not reappear. So I know the complaint about friction, I've just used them for years. This is what I've always used. They also have fabric specific heat erasing pens. These do work, and I've never had any problems with them, and I've sold them for years. Moving on. So what you're going to do is use the bottom circles on your arch, and I line that up with the bottom part of my jean. So as long as the circles lined up to the bottom section of my jean, I knew that my arch was flush to the raw edge. And you can see the previous line through your grid, so you just line them up right next to each other and trace around your entire pant. I can admit when I was wrong. I have been keeping and storing my Sashiko thread like a noob for years. I'm finally on the braiding method, and I will post a tutorial if anybody is interested in one, but this is a really great way to store your Sashiko thread, and you get a consistent length every time. So to begin your thread, you will tie an over and under knot on one end and thread the other end through the eye of your needle, leaving about a 4-inch tail. To embroider the waves pattern, it is a simple over-under stitch, just the running stitch. The difference between the Mayo Musashi patterns versus the Haito Musashi, which is the single stitch patterns that run off of the 1/4-inch grid, and this is what you're used to watching me stitch. So each one of those stitches are as big as the grid, a 1/4 inch. The difference is the Mayo Musashi stitches are much smaller, and the stitch that's going to be on top of your fabric is going to be larger or longer than the stitch that's underneath your fabric. The way I am familiar with it being taught is that the length of the stitch on top of the fabric should be about the length of a grain of rice, and the stitch that you make underneath the fabric should be 1/3 the length of that. And this is really where muscle memory and practice come into play, and this is what I find really beautiful about the Japanese culture and their arts is just a quiet meticulousness about how everything is embroidered. You can really zone out. I find this very meditative. And when you're not battling thick layers of fabric, this goes pretty quickly. I'm ready to move on to my second row of arches, and they are embroidered the exact same way as the larger arches were. You use the running stitch, and when you finish with one arch, you hop over from underneath your fabric to the other one. You will create a little bit longer stitch on the flip side of your fabric, and we'll address that in our smallest arch. But yeah, basically you just continue on with the running stitch and following the lined pattern that you have all the way around your jeans. And I'll stop talking for a second and we'll just So the one thing I did different on my smallest row of arches was I made a row of stitches in between the arch. So instead of having one long thread that went from one small arch to the next, I made a row of running stitches. Now this was one, because I'm wearing these and I don't want a long loose thread on the inside of my pants, but two, I wanted to just add more embroidery along the edge since it is a raw edge and it will continue to fray. This will just help it stop fraying in those areas, and you and I together will see how these wear for us. I know it's another Jorts project, please forgive me, but I hope you love this new circle stencil. I really love using it. I used to make these on my Cricut and use them in my workshops, and I'm so excited for you all to get your hands on them.
Lower it a little.
Thanks for watching. I hope you found this useful, and I'll catch you on the next.